going to be answering a question. Well, let's let's put it in perspective. We are going to be giving our best advice for moms of homeschoolers and teens. It's a tricky time as they are transitioning into having their own opinions and wanting to run their own schedule, and yet they still need our 50, 60, years of experience to guide them. And it can be quite a tricky time. And then on top of it, you are asking yourself as a parent, are they doing enough? How am I going to motivate the child? Will they get a matric certificate? Do I have what it takes to get my child through homeschooling? And we just want to say, first of all, that we are not perfect parents. We didn't get it all right. We had our own struggles and our own insecurities, and our children have made choices that weren't necessarily the choices that we would like them to have made. But there are some things that we feel are encouraging to moms and dads so that they can keep on keeping on. And at the end of the day, have a family that is together and loves each other and is working together. And it might not happen on anybody else's timeline, but it's your family and your uniqueness. So that's, I think, a disclaimer to make right at the beginning. And then I'm going to hand over to you, and I'm going to say one of the first big issues that parents have is, my children are lonely. They don't have friends. How do I get them involved in social activities, etc.? Share your experience and your encouragement on that.
I think the greatest encouragement that both you and I can offer on that issue and all the issues we're going to discuss is to remind you that you're not alone. These are very common issues that many homeschooling families face. And in fact, even parents with children in the school system, they also have these issues and these struggles. So just know that you're not alone, you're not doing something wrong, and that's why you've got this problem with this child. It's just part of parenting and family life. But in terms of the friends, there's two ways to solve it. Sometimes you have a child who really wants more friends and more stimulation. So the obvious answer is to try and find activities in your community that they can get involved in, whether it's sport or whether it's volunteering at a charity or helping, at your church or your local whatever. You can get them involved with people, and hopefully they'll find other people that they click with, because often it's not that there's not people in your circles. It's like with some of my children, they just outgrew their friends, or their friends moved away, or they changed and they became involved with the crowd that my kids didn't necessarily want to be part of anymore. So people change and those friendships change. And in different seasons, you might find you've got friends and no friends. And sometimes you've just got to accept, well, we're in a season now where we don't have a lot of friends. And then use that time to, work on family relationships, work on hobbies, do your own thing, until you're in a place where, again, maybe you might just click with somebody. And, we don't need a lot of friends. Most people just need one or two close buddies that you do something with. And that goes whether you're 12 or whether you're 42. Sometimes you just need one or two people that you like doing stuff with. So, there isn't a quick fix. But sometimes you've just got to accept, well, this is quite normal as well. It's not that you've done something wrong. You're not depriving them because you're homeschooling. There are people in the school system in a class of 30 children who also feel lonely and that they've got no friends and nobody that they connect with. Yeah. So it's not because you've chosen homeschooling. Yeah. But let's get on to the next one.
Well, I just want to quickly add on to that, if you don't mind, is that we also, in that season, we did family style social activities. So we would pull into our home kids for games and pizza nights and those sorts of things. And that it's a cost on you as well, because you're bringing people into your home and you've got to make sure everything's ready and organized and that, but it really is worth it. If your children do walk out of it with the one or two friends that they need to see them through to adulthood. Yeah, next topic.
I think self-motivation to study is one that parents often get frustrated with. You sort of hit the teen years and now you're waiting for these young people to take charge of their education because, you know, you've heard all these lovely testimonies about how they do. And
Yeah.
some kids just don't. They're just not that interested or not that motivated. And it's nothing that you've done wrong as a parent. It's just human nature. And I think if you think about it, even as adults, we all struggle sometimes to do things that we should do because we're doing other things that distract us from the things we should do, you know, whether it's screens, which is a problem with many teens and with many adults. You know, I admit I'll sometimes realize I've been scrolling social media and wasted time that I could have been doing something more constructive. And we all get caught in that. So
Yeah.
have a little grace for your teens, but then just, you know, I think the thing is to always just have open and honest discussions. We always try not to be policemen, but sometimes you do just have to set a firm boundary.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, we are the parent, and we do know what is needed. So if our children are spending excessive times on games and on social media, we do know better that that is going to undermine the future that they may have. And you have that open discussion with them and come up with a plan together as to how to get that screen back into the box that it belongs in. We're not going to get away from them. We need to learn how to manage them so that it's not the master of our lives. And those sort of things need to happen. So distractions are a big thing. And generally, when you deal with that, the motivation does pick up. I would also say that looking intently at the child that you have and saying, what actually makes this child tick? You know, so we'll see a lot of stuff on the surface. Oh, I want friends, and oh, this poor animal, or gee, can you see what's happening over here? And actually, that's a heart that's empathetic. And that heart is maybe the thing that will lead them into social work or animal care or something like that. And or you've got a child who all he wants to do is play Lego and create and build things. Well, you know, what is that child's life speaking about? And find that common thread, and perhaps that is an engineering bent or you know, so when we look at our children and we measure them just according to how much work that they've completed in their school book, we miss often what the heart is of that child. And that's the thing we want to develop. And we want to say, okay, well, for them to achieve that goal and to actually step into what their future is, they do need a certain level of maths, reading, and writing. So that's why we do maths, reading, and writing, so that they can achieve their future. And helping make that mind shift often takes it off. Oh, my child's only done one page of sums this week, you know. And so really look at your child and see what it is, and try and connect them with people and thoughts and ideas and books about the thing that makes them tick.
I think that's a good summary. I think, you know, the thing is that we all just have to keep on keeping on. And most of the hard stuff is character training. It's the discipline. It's the motivation to be diligent, not to be lazy. And that's just part of parenting, and it's hard, and there isn't a quick fix for any of it. But like I said at the beginning, we just want you to know that you're not alone and you haven't done something wrong because you have these challenges. They're just part of being human.
Yeah, absolutely. There were just one or two other little things that popped up when you asked the question on our Facebook group. What is the big thing? And a couple of moms said sibling rivalry. And I thought maybe we could, let's actually talk about that a bit. Because how do you answer that? You know, you kind of think that when your children are small and they're going to fight over a toy, and then or they're going to want that seat at the table, or sit in this chair in the car, you know, and those are the kind of things that we trip up when they're little, and they're pretty easy to solve. But when they're big and there are issues in the relationship between children, this is my perspective, but I hope that you've got a different one so we can give them a sort of a fuller picture, is that there is an unnecessary competition in the home. So a child is feeling like they don't have mom or dad's acceptance, or another child is getting preferential treatment, and the competition rises up in most of us, and the root of that is pride. I am worth more. I should be getting, I should have that, whatever it is. And if we look at our children's hearts, and particularly as they go into the teen years, we're just going to see that they're human, and that they're going to be bumping up against their siblings. And in the same way that we've got to train our heart, we need to encourage our children to train their hearts, to actually, and you always have that lovely saying, in fact, maybe you want to go into that, you say they need to speak out, not act out. So sibling rivalry is an acting out of something that they should rather learn to verbalize. Would you like to pick it up from there, Shirley? Because I think you've got great wisdom in that area.
Yeah, I think you've covered it well. I would just add that it's, again, character. It's one child not respecting another child. And it doesn't matter whether they're older or they're younger. You always have to be respectful to other people. And sure, in some families, kids do squabble over whose turn it is to sit in the front seat. And, a mom can be a policeman and set up a roster. But if you haven't actually dealt with the heart attitude of, fine, I'll let you sit in front, I'll be gracious, or just have a rule in your house, the oldest one's first or whatever. But it's the heart attitude of the child that's causing that unhappiness, actually. And like you said, it's that pride of me. Why should I give way or submit or humble myself and honor somebody else? It's the character issue. And it's hard, and you can try different strategies, policing it or not, but I think in the end you've got to talk to the children. And like you say, if you reassure each one that they're special, whether they sit in the front seat or the back seat or go first or last, it helps to fill that void that they're trying to fill themselves by putting themselves first.
Yeah.
So it's again character and communication.
Yeah, parenting is not for sissies, and the fact is that as our children show these flaws, we should be praying for them, encouraging them, guiding them, but then also just watching over ourselves, because we can get so in on the actual, my children don't have friends, or how am I going to cope with this, that we actually forget that there's a bigger picture. So, parents who are struggling in these years, just hang in there. We have the benefit of hindsight. We're looking now at children who are in their late teens and early 20s and up. And, we've been there, we've done that. We've got the stripes, we've got the gray hairs. But in amongst all of it, there is a delightful process that happens in homeschooling your teen. So don't be, too afraid of it. Don't look at it with fear and trepidation. Say, this is an opportunity for growth for them and for us. And we got this, we can do it.